Well, it's great to see you, Laura. Looking forward to your talk today as well. One of the things that attracted me about the title of your talk is retaining struggling clients. I thought that's really interesting. But then a second part of it is how to rebuild trust. So that for me is really fascinating, because I think those are two things that really go together and are really important for any agency work. So can you tell me the sorts of stuff that you're going to be covering?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I felt it was something that isn't covered enough in our industry yet. It's so important to our day-to-day work, especially as an account manager. You need to be able to keep the trust with your clients. You need to know when something's gone wrong, spot it, but also take accountability for it, and just build those relationships with your client that are outside of just you being a data giver for them. Yep. You want to be able to help them in their day-to-day, and the more they think of you as someone that they can rely on, someone who's got their back, someone who's helping them do their job better too, the more likely those relationships are to stay longer, so they're more likely to be a client with you for a longer period of time. Yeah,
and of course everybody makes mistakes, and indeed one of my favourite quotes about experts is the definition that an expert is someone who makes more mistakes than anyone else.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely true, because it's by mistakes that we really learn, and I think we should embrace them and not be scared of them.
Absolutely. There's a piece of research that says that we make 119 mistakes a year at work.
Wow.
Which, that's quite a lot of mistakes. And when you kind of build that out to the wider team that you're part of, you think about how many mistakes that is across the team, and how costly those mistakes could be if they're not dealt with in the right manner. But yeah, you've got to learn from them, and that's the important thing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with testing something and it not working and saying to the client, you know what, we tried it, we tested it, it hasn't worked, but here's what we're going to do next. That's the most important part, having a plan, having the next steps there. If something goes wrong, be very clear about why it went wrong and what you're going to do. But don't do it via email. What's really important, and one of the big things we're going to be talking about later, is how we've lost touch of speaking to people face to face and even on the phone.
Right.
And that's, it takes so much more guts to say to somebody face to face, I'm really sorry I messed up.
Yeah, but it is a completely different experience when you pick up the phone and you say, I'm really sorry about that, because then people hear the tone in your voice, and we all know that people can misunderstand emails.
100%, I do it all the time. Especially text messages, WhatsApps, emails. It's so easy to not understand the context behind them when you read them, whereas a face-to-face conversation like this, you get the context there because you can see the emotion on somebody's face, you can see their body language, and you understand that actually they genuinely care. They're really sorry for what's happened, but they're going to put it right, and this is what they're going to do.
Okay, and I think another thing is when you talk to clients, then you get little insights.
Yeah.
And you get ideas almost from the offhand comments that they make.
Do.
And I think when you're open to talking to people, that's one of the bonuses that comes along with that.
And you get to know them more as well. So one of the most important things I've found with working with clients for 6-7 years now, I've been working with clients, is get to know them on a personal level. I've sent birthday presents out to clients, I've sent wedding gifts out to them, baby presents. Unfortunately, once I had to send a Villa onesie, and I'm a blue nose, so it was quite painful to do that one. But that's how you build the relationships with them, and then they know you as a person. Then you get to know them on that level, and it just builds the working relationship so much more.
Yeah, okay. Now, one of the things you were talking about earlier was the reasons why clients leave. And again, I think this is nothing to be scared of, but could you just give us a quick summary of the main reasons why clients leave?
Yeah, I think a lot of them, sadly, are actually in our control as to why people leave. Communication's a big one.
Yeah.
It's quite often you might find clients saying, I don't know what you were doing. I don't know what was next. I didn't hear from our account manager. You actually have the ultimate control over this, so it shouldn't be a reason why people leave. So you've just got to make sure that you're communicating with your clients all the time to make sure they know what they're paying for, what they're getting for their money, what are you achieving, what's next. Also, it could be ranking drops. It could be any kind of underperformance of work. I know we probably had to explain in the last week to a few people about Google randomly de-indexing pages. But as long as we're open with clients and we're telling them our industry updates, we're telling them what's going on, then they're less likely to leave because of issues like that. It could be that they feel they were missold. They could feel that you don't understand their business as well. I've had that one a few times before where people go, actually, you've been wanting to push this, but realistically, this product brings us the highest margin. It's elements like that as account managers we need to make sure we know.
Okay,
about our clients.
and you can't know that by telepathy.
No.
You've got to ask
Yeah.
for that. And again, it is so important to have those conversations, but have them in an open way that's friendly, and listening is a great business skill.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I do and that we're going to be doing at JellyBean is we give our clients an onboarding questionnaire as well. The first time we meet them, we go through it with them, and that's where we get to know what's your highest revenue product, which is the one that's actually going to bring you the most margin in. Who do you think your demographics are? Because sometimes they're not what analytics says. So it's good to get the balance of the two, and I actively strive to go and do half a day at the client's company. I want to know about their logistics. I want to know about their customer service. I want to kind of get a day in the life of how that business runs, because that's going to help your overall strategy. You know, if you're suggesting that they do a big Twitter campaign that might lead to questions and they don't have much customer service support, you're actually going to be making work harder for them rather than helping them. My old commercial director, who is one of my really good friends, always used to say that we should aim to be part of our client's marketing team. And that's something I've took with me and that we're taking into JB. And I definitely agree with that. And that really does help to build the relationships.
And I think one of the things is not just talking to the direct person who's employed you, but to other staff as well. Like, walk around, chat to people.
Get to know the wider staff, get to know them more than just what they do. Do they like dogs? That's always my icebreaker. Like, everybody knows I love dogs, and it's just, people are passionate about their pets. It's a really nice in. And then you get to know them more than, oh, that's so-and-so who does customer service.
Right, okay, so it's homing in on something, a personal interest that you have. I remember once having a great chat with a client about keeping hens. We keep hens at home and fresh eggs, and that led to a really good conversation and a great relationship that then.
It can be absolutely anything. Like, an old client of mine I knew owned over 200 pairs of trainers, which is a really obscure thing. But then that was always like a point of conversation that we went back to. What was the newest Adidas trainer that had come out? Like, how has he seen these new gazelles and stuff? And it worked really well because that was his little tick.
Right, okay. And what's the best way to make this happen?
I think I'm a drama kid, so I think it's probably always come a bit easier to me. It's just about making sure you meet people really early on. Get to know them, even if you're able to get involved at the pitching stage rather than when someone's onboarded as an account manager. Get to know them straight away, meet them, take them for a drink. It doesn't have to be in an office. Maybe pick a mutual setting where, you know, there's no kind of power struggles or anything.
And let's say something really has gone bad, you know, we all screw up. Then you're in a situation of having to rebuild trust. So how do you go about that if a disaster does happen?
The first thing is take it off email. I cannot stress that enough. You need to get a meeting in with that client as soon as you can. Doesn't matter how far away they are from you. Doesn't matter if you've got to take a day out to go and get this resolved. You need to go down, meet the client face to face with a plan, with an explanation of why did this go wrong. Sometimes you don't know straight away and you've got to put some time into research why it is. Sometimes, you know, it could have been an algorithm update. It could have been something that's tested and it didn't work out. It could have been that the development agency implemented the tech wrong. There's so many reasons why things can go wrong, but know why it went wrong. Understand the ramifications of it going wrong and what's next, and just be accountable and be honest. Don't try and cover it and fluff your way around it and it wasn't us, we didn't do it. If you did it, just be honest. People will respect that so much more.
Absolutely, and they will forgive it because everybody makes mistakes.
I say don't start it on email, but I think it's a good idea to follow up on email afterwards, just to go, look, this is what we discussed. These are the next steps. Just want you to have 100% clarity. But even after that, make sure you're then keeping the client updated of what's happened. You know, anytime you've done a fix that's part of this action plan, let them know. Pick up the phone to them. Just let you know, we've just implemented this. We're hoping to see X, Y, Z, whatever. Yeah.
Okay. And is there a final piece of advice you would give to our listeners about what they should be doing, be it solo business or an agency?
I think we touched on it already, but cannot stress enough, don't rely on email so much. Pick up the phone, meet people face to face, and get to know your clients, your customers on a personal level, and don't, especially when things go wrong, don't rely on email to break the bad news, because you just don't understand the context that it will come across.
Okay, that's great. Laura, thanks very much for your time, and great luck with your presentation today.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. And remember, you can check out our plans and pricing at majestic.com. And if you want to be among the first to see our new material, you know what you got to do. Hit the subscribe button. See you next time.